Every few years, there's a new suggestion on how to fix India's judiciary. Most fade into obscurity. But this time, when Chief Justice Surya Kant suggested in September 2025 that High Court and Supreme Court justices must undergo performance evaluation, it felt a little different. After all, this time, the call was coming from the highest echelons of the institution itself. The judiciary makes for an easy punching bag. The mountain load of pendency, the colonial hangover of referring to judges as my lord or your lordship, the long summer vacations while litigants continue to wait. These are casual ingredients for easy outrage. But these are distractions. The real pain of the litigant lies elsewhere. It is in the unpredictable adjournments that they're faced with in the courtroom. It is in the agonizing slowness of the process and the complete opacity in determining what cases are heard and which ones lie in limbo. That Chief Justice Surya Kant wants to address this is welcome. It is a sign that the upper judiciary recognizes that the system is not working as intended. But reform born of frustration rarely ends well. There is a reflexive impulse that something must be done. But the danger here lies in doing it badly, because once entrenched, systems are hard to reverse. The proposal deserves to be taken seriously. After all, the evaluation of judges is important, and because it matters, we cannot afford to get it wrong. Before we determine what to measure or how we measure it, we must ask the deceptively simple question: why are we measuring at all? Evaluation systems typically serve one of three purposes. The first is institutional feedback, using data to identify bottlenecks in the system or identify where more resources are needed: more staff, better technology, perhaps some workload reallocation. The second is individual development. When structured feedback is passed on to the judge, it is a tool for professional development so that they may do their jobs better. The third is accountability, the report card. This one carries consequences of promotion and transfer. The danger lies in mixing up these objectives. We have an example of one such confused system. The Annual Confidential Report, or the ACR, is a massive exercise in judicial evaluation. As authors Prashant Reddy and Chitrakshi Jain point out in their book Tariq Pe Justice, the ACR is a confused mishmash of the subjective and the quantitative. Different states follow different rules in their ACRs. Assam offers points for disposing of judges. I believe they call them units, and there is more weightage given to older cases. Karnataka tracks disposals across 12 categories and 13 separate buckets. Calcutta measures judges' hours. Bihar evaluates judgment writing from a scale of A+ to C. And worse, in some states like Assam and Madhya Pradesh, judges are evaluated on integrity, with low scores triggering some kind of vigilance action. This is the kind of setup the American Bar Association's Black Letter Guidelines explicitly warn against. A tool for performance evaluation must not be used for judicial discipline. If a judge feels that their performance is going to lead to a corruption probe, they may be less likely to take free action against powerful people. The ACR as it stands today does not apply to Supreme Court and High Court justices. It is restricted to the subordinate judiciary. But if Chief Justice Surya Kant's proposal extends what already exists, this is the architecture we would be scaling up. The call for accountability is not new, but this one comes amidst a series of events in public limelight. Justice Nagaratna's dissent over the elevation of a Supreme Court justice, the corruption allegations against Justice Verma, recent reports of High Court justices being bolder about declaring their political affiliations, these are now public discourse. We have moved from an era of CJI Thakur saying we need more judges, I believe he said 70,000, to an era where collegium decisions are published in the public domain and the new CJI asserting that we need better judges. It is a sign that the upper judiciary recognizes that the people's trust in the system is eroding. The old ways are no longer tenable. This openness to change is welcome, but we must be cautious. Mexico experimented with judicial elections and ended up concentrating power in the hands of the ruling party. Pakistan's recent reforms demoting the Supreme Court and creating an executive appointed federal constitution court was sold to the people as democratization when they were a power grab. In this global climate of populism, the clamor for accountability can easily turn evaluation into a tool of control as opposed to a system of feedback and improvement. Designing a performance evaluation system well is challenging. Hospitals, software firms, universities, banks all struggle with the challenge of balancing quantity and quality. The court would do well to heed some hard won wisdom from the private sector. First, different objectives require different tools. A system designed to decide who gets promoted and who gets fired cannot really be used for personal coaching and feedback. Second, what gets measured gets managed, making it extremely crucial to be very clear about what is worth measuring. Third, Goodhart's law comes into particular force when applied to complex intellectual work. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be useful. Some of these are absolute basics, at the level of wash your hands before surgery levels of common sense for anyone designing performance evaluation systems. This may seem difficult, but it needs to be done, and it is possible to get it right. The timing is right, the atmosphere is right, the CJI wants to act. But we must treat this seriously. The current ACR mechanism does not inspire confidence that we know how to do this well. Of course, we must debate what we measure, how we measure it, and who will be put in charge of this evaluation system. These are genuinely complex questions. But first, we must be clear about why. It cannot be to project an image of transparency or to satisfy the collective conscience of society. It must be to fix a system that is deeply broken. Most importantly, we want accountability without compromising on judicial independence. In all this discourse, the litigant is lost. The citizen waiting years for a verdict, the undertrial languishing in jail, and the firm losing money for every delay and adjournment, these must be the people we are focused on. Processes and institutions must be designed with the litigant in mind. Yes, we need accountability, but first and foremost, we need a system that works for the people it is intended to serve.